My name is Rick Hidalgo Benya. This is the House of Hidalgo show, and today is the 20th day of August 2018, and I am very excited. We're going to go over some very important information today, but before I get to that, I want to mention a couple things. I have transferred all of my premium content over to the EduBytes Premium website. The EduBytes Premium website is therockofsalem.org /membership/. If you click that into your browser, it'll take you to the EduBytes Premium, and you'll have to register in order to sign in. I would recommend that anybody who wants the really detailed commentary and extra videos that go into the details of your capacity and how to utilize it, that you sign up at a $5 or above level. Okay, I mean, that's ridiculously cheap for that kind of content, but that's what I recommend, because I am putting special extra detail into that, and it is rather sensitive information that should be conveyed through membership only. This show is a free show that I do weekly. It's episodic in nature, and I will continue to do this show and expose concepts to you, but the details I will not expose. On this show, you'll have to be a member to see those details. Also, I want to quickly, haven't done this in a few weeks, I want to thank Oscar Heff for supplying the song Believe that you hear at the beginning of this show. It is his song, and I thank him for allowing me to use it. It's very close to the nature of the show. With that said, today we're going to name the show New Entity. It's a kind of obscure name, but that's because it's sort of an obscure topic. And I'm going to go away here in a few seconds to the screen so that you can follow along on what I'm talking about. So, last thing I want to say to all of you is I thank you for all of the good words and comments that you guys make. However, I feel that there are probably some of you who are not commenting because you don't feel like maybe it's inappropriate to comment or whatever. Never feel that way. I'll see all of your comments. Most of the time I have to accept the comment before it goes on the thread anyway, so other people aren't going to necessarily see it. So please always feel free to comment. Please always feel free to comment below the video. And if you subscribe to my channel, please always feel free to email me. There's contact information all over the place. You can find out how to contact me pretty easily. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and go to the video screen. So here it is. It's all about the blood. Yep, that's the slogan in the ministry I operate and with the products that I buy. Hi, I'm Rick Hidalgo Benya, and I'm the host of the House of Hidalgo show on YouTube. If you're looking to promote your health with CBD oils, you're looking at a booking. Book greenflowerbotanicals.com for your health needs, and use the link provided in the comments section of this video, because doing so will help you cleanse your blood and promote the blood of Jesus to the world. Just join our Healthy for the Blood campaign by ordering through the link below, and a percentage of the sale will benefit my ministry. It's all about the blood. Okay, so as you can see, we're on my PC. I'm going to open up the browser and we're going to take a look here. What you're looking at right now is the Internal Revenue Service manual. The Internal Revenue Service keeps a manual that dictates to their employees how to handle certain situations. Today we're going to be exploring the concept of getting your foreign grantors trust started, which is a very important part, and I'll show you why that is, of you establishing yourself in a clean capacity. So this is a vessel that you're likely going to want to get started. Now, if you notice, it's all in parts. We're going to go into the customer account services section, which is going to bring us here. And what we're looking for is something to do with EINs. I happen to know it's 21.7.13. Here it is, assigning employer identification numbers. We're going to click on that, and we're going to see that this manual is a pretty big one. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to go past the table of contents. This is all an index of everything that's in here. So bear with me a second as we scroll down. Okay. Now notice that the purpose of this IRM is intended to use in assigning employer identification numbers and answering questions regarding post-assignment of EINs. So this is the point of them even creating this. Now I'm going to scroll down to the first very relevant subject. Give me just a moment here. You got to keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. There is a table that I want you to see. The first table that is important for you to understand. Okay, how an EIN is assigned. Okay, now this is very interesting information. You'll notice that there is a campus and certain delegated EIN prefixes. So if your EIN starts with a 10 or a 12, you're getting your EIN from Andover, Maryland, I believe that is. So anyway, what I want to point out is that the office that does international affairs, and international is important because you're being recognized in your capacity to be able to do business or make contracts with those who are outside of the United States. That's very important because remember there's multiple United States. The definition of United States is quite convoluted. It can be a corporation, it can be a country, it can be a sub-corporation, it can be many things depending on the use of the term. So you're always, when you're seeking to utilize your liberties, you're always looking at doing things without the United States. And since Cincinnati is the field office that does the international EINs, it actually assigns them. I want you to notice the prefixes 30, 32, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 61. Okay, notice that there is no 98 prefix at the Cincinnati office, yet the Cincinnati office is what does international affairs. Okay, that's very important for you to know, because you're going to find out in just a moment that there is an office. I'm trying to turn my phone off here, guys. Give me 1 second. I noticed that it made a noise and I forgot to turn it off. All right, here we go. So you're going to notice in a moment that the Internal Revenue Service only issues one number that is considered to be foreign. That there is no other number that is considered to be foreign. And you're going to notice that that number is a 98 number, and that Cincinnati does not offer that number. So something unusual happens when Cincinnati receives an application from an international entity. It receives an application from an international entity, and somehow that whole application must move over to Philadelphia, who you'll notice under Philadelphia supplies 9-8 numbers. Another thing that you'll notice, and we'll talk about these two, we'll talk about 8-2 numbers and 8-3 numbers. Notice those are also offered by Philadelphia. But if you look under Internet, they also give out 8-2 numbers under the Internet. Okay? So for a long time, I was unclear as to whether I was getting an Internet number or getting a Philadelphia number until the day came when the 8-2 numbers were no longer available for certain types of accounts, and they began to issue 8-3 numbers. Well, there is only one place that 8-3 numbers come from, and that is Philadelphia. You'll see this, okay? So notice that. Now, very important, number 3. I'm going to highlight it for you. 6 and 7 million series EINs are reserved for trust, estates, and non-profit exempt organizations under the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act. Okay, so a 6 or 7 million series EIN can be identified by the number 6 or 7 immediately following the dash. So following the dash of, say, an 9-8 number, if it's a trust, it's going to say 98-6 or 7. Very important for you to know. All right, now let's go down a little bit further. And we're going to get you some more understanding. Just give me a minute here to spot it. Okay. Nope. That's not okay. That's not it either. It's a little further down here. Give me a sec. Keep scrolling. Here we go. This is Title 26 of the United States Code, subsection 7701. These are the definitions. I want you to pay close attention to the term domestic. All right? The term domestic, when applied to a business entity, means created or organized in the United States or under the law of the United States or any state, unless in the case of a partnership the Secretary provides otherwise by regulations. A business entity created or organized both in the United States and in foreign jurisdiction is a domestic entity. Okay? So, if it's created in both, in and out, it's domestic. If it's created under the laws of the United States, it's domestic. If it's created in the United States, it's domestic. Okay? Now, foreign. The term foreign, when applied to a corporation or partnership, means a corporation or partnership which is not domestic. Okay, well, that's kind of ambiguous, I know. But think about it. For it not to be domestic, it would have to be without the United States. It would have to be not under the laws of the United States. Okay? Now let's look at a trust, because trust is what we're actually dealing with here. The term domestic trust means a trust in which a court within the United States, there's that word again, within, is able to exercise primary supervision over the administration of the trust, and is a really important word because it means both must apply, and one or more U.S. persons have the authority to control all substantial decisions of the trust. Okay? One or more U.S. persons have the authority to control all substantial decisions of the trust. Now, let's take you back for a minute. What was a U.S. person again? Did we not discuss this? We're talking about U.S. individuals here. A U.S. individual or a U.S. person is somebody who has a U.S. fictional number. We're talking about a social security number or a fiction that's created under a social security number. These are U.S. persons or U.S. individuals. So if you're one of those, or if you structured this underneath that, okay, then it's a domestic trust. If you have any authority over that trust and you are a U.S. person or U.S. individual, then it's domestic. The term foreign trust means any other trust other than a domestic trust described above. So here we go again. Okay? So, these are things that I really need you to understand, because where we're going, look here. Let me explain it to you this way. If a corporation or limited liability company indicates on line 9B that it was incorporated in a foreign country, assign a prefix 98. If a corporation or limited liability company indicates on line 9B that it was incorporated in the United States but provides a foreign mailing and or location address, do not assign a prefix 98. Now, why wouldn't they? Because it was created in the United States. There's that word, in. Okay, now look here. If there is language or anywhere on the SS4 form suggesting foreign status, underline, highlight, quote unquote, okay? Such as a tax treaty, a foreign entity, a treasury regulation, an election, Form 1120F, okay, so on and so forth. A W8 IMY, a W8 EXP, a W8 BEN, which is a certificate of foreign status of beneficial owner for United States tax withholding and reporting individuals. What do in those cases? You assign a prefix 98. See? There it is. This proves that one is a foreign entity. So if any entity checks the box on line 10 for compliance with IRS withholding regulations, assign a prefix 98. Okay, so what I want you to understand is there's only a certain way that one can function their life in order to utilize one of these things properly. And it tells you everything right here. Foreign entities, persons not required to file a U.S. tax return. Foreign corporations and individuals not engaged in a trade or business in the United States, in foreign partnerships, foreign trusts, foreign estates that do not have gross income that is or is treated as effectively connected with the conduct of a trade or business, are not required to obtain an EIN unless they otherwise have United States source income on which the tax liability was not fully satisfied by the withholding of tax at the source. However, a foreign entity may need an EIN to comply with IRS withholding regulations or to claim tax treaty benefits. In this case, the taxpayer should complete Form SS4 as shown below. So they're telling you exactly what to do. Now I'm telling you, if you apply these things yourself, you're not going to get it. There are more tricks. I've been involved in this for quite some time. And I'm involved in an organization that can help you to do this. But, see, it tells you what to write in line 7B. I've tried the NA thing many times. Doesn't work. There's something else you have to put there. And I've got that all figured out. So, it's actually what I do for a living. So, can't really go into that right now. So, foreign entities and persons required to file a tax return. It goes into telling you how a foreign entity is required to fill out a tax return. Of course, a lot of it has to do with any person having the ability to influence the trust. That's a U.S. person. And there's a lot of trickiness there, so we can go into all that. But anyway, that's really all on this form, that's really important. That's really what I wanted to share with you today. So recognize that there's only one number, and here it is, that the Internal Revenue Service can offer that's truly foreign. And foreign meaning without the United States. And that is a 98 number. So that 98 number is important if you want to establish some kind of a enterprise, some kind of an organization outside of the United States. You're going to need a 98 number. It should also be said at some point during this conversation that I am not a legal advisor. I'm not willing to be a legal advisor. I've never been willing to be a legal advisor. I will never be a legal advisor. I am not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. None of those things. I am just a simple man who reads books and who reads manuals. And when you read things, you learn things. It's kind of simple. But you got to know where to go. So, and here's that information I was telling you about. What field office is the only one that accepts international transactions? Right here it tells you. They're only processed by the Cincinnati International Unit. Okay? Even gives you a fax number. And that's what I use to fax them in. And that's what my organization that helps people to obtain these numbers uses to fax them in. So that really is the overview I wanted to give. Why is it important? Well, let's get away from the screen. We'll get back to the video, and I'll tell you why it's also important. So yeah, as you just seen on the video moments ago, the importance of the 98 number is for those who want to escape the Babylonian presumptivism, as I call it. If you want to escape that, if you want to line up your organization in such a way that it will be effective to work for the Lord, if working for Yahushua HaMashiach is your goal, if your goal is to structure yourself in such a way to where all you do for the glory of Yahushua HaMashiach, that's Jesus Christ, our King, our Sovereign, our Lord, King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, if that's who you want to operate for, a 98 number is absolutely essential. Why? Because it is your function to work in the kingdom. Remember, there are some very simple principles. We, as flesh and blood, are always agents. We can't help but to be agents. Okay? This Babylonian system necessitates fictions, vessels for you to operate through. And in order for you to operate a vessel that is not United States vessel, but that is outside the United States, but has a birthright in the United States. Okay, very important, because if you're going to imply that you have some benefit of the First Amendment, where Congress can make no law against certain things, then you need to have the birthright to walk it. Okay, to walk that liberty. So it's very, very, very important that we consider a 9(8) trust, and consider, once you have that 9(8) trust, joining some union, some organization that's out there of other people that have done the same thing, so that you can benefit holistically. Okay? And if you want more information about that, you're going to have to go to Edubytes Premium, because I can't talk about that here. So that's really what I got for you today. I hope this has been a very helpful and enlightening walk through the Internal Revenue Service Manual. Never thought that would be enlightening, did you? But it is. If you read, you learn. If you don't read, you don't learn. And it's just kind of that simple. So, and I've had the time to read now for several years, because, as you know, I have a family member who, doesn't have a birth certificate, doesn't have anything, and I've had to try to figure this out for my family member, and that keeps me going. So I study and study and study and study and study to try to figure out how it is that I'm going to help her to operate her vessel when the same options aren't available for her as are everybody else, just because she doesn't have a birth certificate. So I we're moving forward, and we're learning a lot of things, and I'm telling you, I have found the answer, but I'm trying to get you guys up to par on that answer, because I have become quite what's the word I want to use here? I've become quite engaged in the subject, and I have become quite close to all of you, and I want to ensure that our next generation doesn't have to go through all the things that our generation had to go through. And whatever sacrifice that I have to make for that to happen, let it be so. Because the next generation is not going to suffer the heartaches and the hardships that we suffered, because they're going to be completely under the wing of Yahuwah HaMashiach, completely under his wing, because they're going to obey the ways of the Lord. Remember, the House of Hidalgo show is all about the blood. Thank you. God bless. We'll see you next time.